Welcome everyone to this presentation here on my YouTube channel. I'm here with Shanti, who is the organizer of an upcoming conference. It's actually the largest, I think, astrological conference in the world, the Parashra Conference here happening in November. I will be a featured speaker at that conference. I'm going to be speaking on the topic of when debilitated planets give good results. It's a favorite topic of mine. But right now, I'd like to turn it over to him to just talk about the conference in general.
Namaste. Thank you, Marc, for having me here on this platform. Welcome, everyone. So I'm going to be talking about the Parashra Conference. It's the fourth annual Maharishi Parashara Conference. It was given to me by one of my mentors, Dr. Dennis Harness, who wanted to retire from doing Jyotish conferences and asked me to take over about 5 years ago. I took the conference virtual post-COVID. I just thought that was the best idea. And it's grown a lot. We have 30 different faculty members from over 11 different countries, and we're now the most well-attended international Jyotish conference out there. The theme of the conference this year is the dispelling of fear, which is based on the inspiration of Dr. Harness and I's keynote interview last year, where we felt a therapeutic approach to Jyotish being really necessary, kind of destigmatizing some fear-based practices that go along inside of Jyotish. And so that inspired the theme of the conference this year, where many faculty, including Marc, are going to be taking things where there's traditionally a lot of fear around them and showing and painting an optimistic or hopeful light about how sometimes it might not be so tragic. So I'm excited about that. You can join us at parashraconference.com. It's November 20th to the 24th, hosted on Zoom. And for fans of Marc and followers and students of Marc, if you put in his last name, Boney, Boney, into the checkout, it'll get you 10.8% off all registration packages. So there's still 9 days as of the recording of this to join the conference. We hope you'll join us at parashraconference.com. And I'm really excited to hear a little bit more about this research that you've been doing on debilitated planets giving good results. Can I have a little taste of this lecture?
Sure. Some while back, in fact, quite a few years back, I wrote an article called An Enigma Wrapped in a Mystery, subtitle being When Debilitated Planets Give Good Results. And this stemmed from an experience I had very early on when I was teaching a class on Jyotish at Deepak Chopra's center in La Jolla, California. It was mostly women, and I was teaching the planetary dignities, right? Exaltation, own sign, and of course, debilitation. And when it came to Venus being debilitated in Virgo, I saw some faces visibly start to get depressed almost, right? About discovering in their chart that they had a debilitated Venus. The implication being that all the significations of Venus, including one's love life, marriage, and so forth, would be negatively impacted. And so that experience made me realize that whenever I taught the idea of debilitation, I needed to simultaneously teach the idea of ways in which debilitated planets can have their debility canceled. And it doesn't mean that Clark Kent turns into a Superman, but the idea behind debilitation is the planet is weak, right? And in being weak, it can't give its indications in a very favorable sort of way. If it's involved in any yogas, it won't give the fruit of those yogas to any great degree. But of course, there's this idea in Jyotish of Nichabanga, meaning conditions under which a planet's stability gets effectively canceled. There's a whole variety of ways in which this can happen. I'll just mention one. Say, for example, a planet is in an exchange with its sign lord. Say Venus is in Virgo and Mercury is in Libra, in which case there's a Parivartana Yoga, there's an exchange between them. What you'll find in that case is that Venus will not give its results weekly in its periods and subperiods. In fact, if it's involved in any yogas, it will actually, in that period, give the fruit of that yoga rather strongly. And so, just one major example of that, which I based a prediction on, many have seen the chart of Barack Obama. It's a former US president, right? Capricorn Lagna has Saturn giving Sasha Yoga, leader of the village, is the first lord in the first house actually Vargotama, and it's with Jupiter. Jupiter, of course, would be in Capricorn, in which case it's going to be in its debilitation sign. Well, Barack Obama actually became the US president in his Jupiter major period. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. But one of the reasons that Jupiter could actually give its results rather strongly is because it is Nichabanga. And if you looked in Navamsa, you'll see that it went into Pisces. So it has underlying strength in that way. And not only do we have this concept of Nichabanga, that is a debilitated planet giving its debilitation canceled, under certain conditions, it will actually give the fruit of Raja Yoga. And this is referred to as Nichabanga Raja Yoga. And you'd see that this is true of Barack Obama's Jupiter. Now, three things have to happen for a planet to give the fruit of Nichabanga Raja Yoga. First of all, it must be in its debilitation sign. Secondly, there must be cancellation, and particularly what I call effective cancellation, which is brought about in certain ways that I outline in my presentation. And then thirdly, the planet must be either in an angle or a trine. So in the case of Barack Obama, it's Nietzsche, Jupiter's in Capricorn. It's Nichabanga because it's with a very powerful sign lord, Saturn. And thirdly, it's in the ascendant, both an angle and a trine. And so when I was going to predict the outcome of the election between Barack Obama in 2008 and the Republican candidate John McCain, of course, I was seeing all that. Now there's more to the story with regards to this Jupiter and why it could give the results that it did. But a large element of that is the fact that it's not only Nichabanga, but it gives the fruit of Nichabanga Raja Yoga. So when I say the subtitle of my talk and the subtitle of my article I wrote way back then, When Debilitated Planets Give Good Results, this is all about situations where a debilitated planet will actually give good fruit in its period and subperiods. Does it still mean that its natural significations are going to be harmed to some degree? The answer is yes. All right, that debilitation of the planet is going to mean something and something not so on the favorable side. But you really have to be able to see which planets are truly debilitated, in which case they'll truly be weak and not be able to give their results very effectively, versus planets that are in their debilitation time, but Nichabanga and are capable of giving their fruits rather strongly. So there's your preview of what my talk is all about. I go through the different things that can cancel a planet's stability, also which ones I found to be more effective forms of cancellation, rather than ones that aren't as effective, and then situations when they can give Raja Yoga. K.N. Rao, my teacher, used to talk about something they referred to as that great Parashra exception, which comes from a shloka in the chapter on Raja Yogas and Parashra Horrors that says when a debilitated planet falls in a Dushtana, 3, 6, or 8, and the Lagna Lord is strong, it will give Nichabanga Raja Yoga, meaning it'll give Raja Yoga, which is an unusual sort of thing. Number one, we don't think of debilitated planets giving that, certainly not falling in Dushtana houses. But you'll see that this shloka comes right from Parashra Hora, and I found it he showed examples of where it was giving this kind of result, and I found it to be true as well. I'll be covering this in the talk. So maybe that's a preview of what you'll be hearing in the conference.
Thanks, Mark. I'm really excited, and it's right with the theme. It's sometimes it's just bringing, understanding exactly how something like Nietzsche or debilitation functions, how it's manifesting, how we can see it through evidence-based results, and then we can understand its true nature and how maybe in certain situations, not only is it not that bad, it's actually quite nice. So thank you for bringing this to the
Exactly.
conference. I appreciate this.
That's my
Um,
favorite topic, actually. That's why I chose to do it. I love when people are feeling bad about their debilitated planets and I can show them that, it's not as bad as they think, or it's actually going to give them some really favorable results.
it's awesome. So again, Mark is presenting Monday, November 24th from 10 to 11:30 p.m. Eastern. That's 7 to 8:30 p.m. Pacific. And we hope you'll join us November 20th to the 24th at the Parashra Conference. Thanks again, Mark, for having me here today.
Absolutely. Namaste.